Of course, one question many are wondering is how this conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the related sanctions may affect the economy here in the United States. Crown 4's Dan Kerman has been speaking with financial experts about that. He joins us live with details. Dan.
Well, still plenty of uncertainty in terms of how long this will last and where it's going to go, but some of those impacts we're already starting to see. If it seems like you've been paying more at the pump lately, you have, and much of that is tied to concerns over the Russian-Ukraine conflict.
Russia is a supplier of both natural gas and also oil, and actually oil is one of their main sources of revenue. So if they're not able to find buyers, I mean, essentially, there's going to be less oil available on the global markets. And so if there's less oil, there's less gas, and if there's less gas, the price goes up.
But financial experts say there may be something to offset that if Russia stops the flow.
We are negotiating with Iran at the moment. We could get a nuclear deal there, and that would open up supply of oil to the world market. So there are a lot of moving parts to this.
And while prices at the pump have gone up, the uncertainty has sent other prices down.
It's going to have some influence already on financial markets and therefore on the returns people are getting on their investments. And the bigger this problem becomes, the larger that uncertainty is, the bigger that effect can be.
The Biden administration has already initiated sanctions against Russia, and Donna Hanna with UC Berkeley says that will also have impacts.
There's also supply chain issues, and some of that will arise from the sanctions that we're likely to put in place, or already have put in place, that will disrupt supply chains and further exacerbate the kind of problems we've already seen as a result of COVID-19.
Russia and Ukraine are also big exporters of grains. If either or both spouts are shut off, it could lead to a rise in some food prices here in this country. But financial experts think that is unlikely.
It's in the interest of both sides to continue to see these exports, to import these materials, to keep their economies functioning smoothly. So the hope is that like most other geopolitical disturbances, this one will be fairly short-lived.
Now, we've already seen a thrashing of the economy I'm talking about in 2020 due to COVID-19. Financial experts seem to agree that whatever happens here, it will not be as bad as it was back then. Live in San Francisco, Dan Kerman, Crown 4 News.
Thank you.